ever remember, I don't think my folks ever had a TV while I was around. I'm sure that they didn't. The only first TV I remember even seeing was in a window of some store someplace, and there was a big fight, like Joe Louis or somebody, and it was on TV in black and white, pretty small. And I remember us all standing around outside the store watching that, thinking that was pretty neat. But I don't remember when I ever got a TV for the first time. I don't remember that. Yes, we always had a radio when we were kids, and we had there was a lot of programs that we listened to on the radio. I remember some of them were ones that we weren't supposed to listen to. And so we'd turn the radio on real low, and we'd get right up next to the radio listening to it. And I don't really know why we weren't supposed to listen to it. Yeah. I remember a lot of radio programs that we used to listen to as the kids. They had Dick Tracy, and the one that we weren't supposed to listen to was Inner Sanctum. It was a spooky, kind of a spooky radio program. I don't remember what, I know it was kind of spooky music. But we all had radio programs that we liked to listen to. I didn't join. I was drafted. I was 21 years old, and they usually started drafting at 18. And for some reason or other, I was deferred, medical deferment, because I had one ear that I couldn't hear out of. And so I was deferred all those years until I was 21 years old, and then I got a letter in the mail saying, "You will come and join us." And that's how I got in. No, I never, and that, the war that was going on during that time was Korean War. And I remember going on a troop train, which was loud and noisy and rickety, from Fort Lewis, Washington to Virginia, where basic training was, and I don't remember the name of the army place there, but that was on the coast, Atlantic coast. Took my basic training there, and when you were about finished, they would ask you, where would you like to go in the Army? And as I remember, I asked to go to Germany. Well, I don't know why they asked, but they finally told us we were going to Korea. And so we went someplace in California to catch onto the ship that went over, and we transport ship that went across the ocean to Korea. And that's the Korean War really finished, or the truce was signed on that about a week before we went over there. So I didn't like the Army from the start. I never could like it. But it was interesting to see another country. And I remember one Sunday, a friend of mine and we heard church bells ringing somewhere, and so we decided to walk out and try and find out where the church was. And we found a little church. All the people sat on the floor, and my friend had a guitar, and so he played the guitar, and we sang some of the same songs they were singing. Jesus Loves Me, they sang that in Korean, and we sang it for them. I remember that. And then while I was there, we had a vacation time where we went to Japan. So we took a ship over to Japan, and that was interesting too. Always somebody ordering you around. And it seemed like most of the ones who were ordering you around were not very smart. Maybe that was just my recollection. Over there you had to go on hikes with all your gear on, and had to hike places. I went to work in a medical hospital while I was over there, and learned how to be a technician, I don't know what you call it, anyhow, to assist the doctors in handing them instruments during the operation. So I learned all that over there. Before I went over there, I was in an aid station where anybody in the company had any medical problems, they came into the aid station and you helped them out, give them shots. That's about all I remember about the Army.
And you give people haircuts too?
Oh yeah, yeah. It was cold over there and wet and muddy, and somehow I figured out maybe I could get an inside job, and I told them I could cut hair. Sad looking people when I got through with them. Anyhow, I did that and got to stay inside all the time.